Hello, and thank you for checking in to the Neutral Zone Hotel, an unapologetically left-leaning podcast exploring hockey at its best and worst. My name is SJ, my pronouns are they, them, and I'm so pleased to welcome you to the Neutral Zone Hotel. Here to ensure your stay is a memorable one is my colleague Trevor.
Hi, everybody. It's Trevor here. Pronouns are he, him, the regretful Vancouver Canucks fan, the hopeful PWHL Vancouver fan, and oh my god, do I want to drive a Lego F-1 car now.
You want to drive a Lego F1 car? Not a real F1 car.
No, of course not.
Lego.
The Lego ones only go like, 60 kilometers an hour. But seeing the video of all the F1 drivers driving all theirs around a circuit and crashing into each other and bricks exploding everywhere is the funniest thing I've seen all week.
I have not seen this.
So you can look confused. So, for context, F1 and Lego have had a partnership that started as of this year. Like, they've done a little Lego model for all 10 teams and are doing more sets as they go along. But as part of this, Lego Master Builders built life-size replicas of all 10 F1 cars, attached proper wheels to them, and like put engines and whatnot, and made them actual cars. So for the Miami Grand Prix that took place a week and a bit ago, they had all of the drivers drive them around for like a formation lap or like a bonus lap. Mm-hmm. And just it was either yesterday or today as of recording, they posted like a 15-minute compilation video because they also have like cameras mounted on all the cars. And I have never seen 20 drivers laughing their heads off as much as I have there. Just, they're cutting all of the corners. They're bumping into each other. Pieces are flying all over the place. It is fantastic. SJ, I will link you to this after we're done here.
Awesome. So this is an F1 podcast now. Well, no, we haven't quite gone down that road yet. Maybe in the off season. That sounds cool. I'm looking forward to it. Please send it my way.
Yep.
Let's get into it. It's the playoffs.
It is the playoffs.
More importantly, it's the PWHL playoffs.
Agreed.
So where are we at? What's the current state of the playoffs?
As we are right now, as of recording, the Minnesota Frost are up 2-1 over the Toronto Scepters. And it does pain me at times to be cheering for Toronto, but God, I hope they come back and win these next few games so badly.
They definitely are on the brink of elimination as this is a 5-game series. Mm-hmm. So they need to win on Wednesday.
Yep. And fingers crossed they pull it out. And then in the other series, Montreal and Ottawa are tied 1-1 after 3 games of play. No, I'm not making that up.
Oh, yes, that's right.
We'll get into that. What you want to start with that series because that's the one we're paying attention to?
Let's start with that right now.
Let's
talk about Montreal and Ottawa with an absolute banger of a game too.
Holy smokes. So just let's paint this picture for you. It's May 11th of 2024. Montreal and PWHL Boston decide to start the PWHL off with a bang in Game 2 with a 3-overtime epic, cementing over 100 minutes of hockey and cementing it as the longest game in PWHL history. Now let's take that 2024 and let's erase the very end of it. And let's stick a 5 in there when Ottawa says, "Hold my beer, Montreal. We can do you one better." Going to 4 overtimes.
4 overtimes. Oh.
It was something like, I think, 131 minutes of hockey. It would have been the 9th No, my math is off here. 150 some odd minutes, I think, is correct. I'm like trying to do 140, like 150 plus. Yeah, it would have been the 9th longest game in NHL history, the 3rd longest game in AHL history, and we're only in year 2.
It was, in fact, the longest game in women's hockey history as well. So going all the way back, the PHF, the CWHL, women's hockey history. So that's pretty cool.
And we were inches away from not even getting it because Montreal was up 2-0 with under 5 minutes to go before Ottawa decided to tie the game up with like 4 minutes to go, and then in the last minute.
Yeah, that was a heck of a comeback. Wow.
Oh, the game 3 is on as we record, and they're scrumming right now. It's a full line scrum right now. Okay, so you got it on in another tab as well. Okay, I'm not the only one.
So it says, I'm just looking at the game sheet for this game, and it says Anne-Renee Debienne played 135 minutes and 30 seconds. She saved 63 shots and only allowed 2 goals.
Which is a new PWHL record for saves in a game. And let's also not take anything away from Gwyneth Phillips, who I believe stopped, 50 of 53?
She stopped 53 of 56 shots.
Even better. So
it was incredible, yeah.
That's
she did allow that game-winning goal.
Not much she could do on it, though. It was a gorgeous shot.
It was a great shot from Catherine Dubois of the Montreal Victoire. I was really afraid as that game went on. The game winner, as it's usually an ugly goal. It bounces in off somebody's butt, or it's just like it's just a total defensive breakdown. Which I don't know. This one might have been that, but it was a good goal from Catherine Dubois. I can't be too mad. And the Victoire, it did mean the Victoire didn't lose both games at home. So they are playing in Ottawa tonight. By the time people listen to this, they will, of course, know how that went. But go Charge go. I only have this playoffs left to cheer for the Charge. Since Seattle is getting a team. So this is it.
Yep. They got one and done. And it should be, again, noted that I believe the Victoire had a lead in game 1 as well. But, go figure that out of this current 6-team league, the Ottawa Charge became the 4th team to win a playoff game in history when they beat the Victoire in game 1, which meant the Victoire had to be the 5th, despite making the playoffs last year.
Yes, that was a very funny occurrence. The Victoire were a good team last year, and they did not win a playoff game. It's kind of funny watching the other series, the Minnesota-Toronto series this year, how much I feel like the Frost are a better playoff team than they are a regular season team.
They did this last year as well, where they just barely limped into the playoffs versus this year, and before turning it on and just going, I don't crazy. Well, I shouldn't quite say that because they went to 5 in both their series. It's not like they were completely dominant, just dominant enough.
Yes, but dominant enough that they also won the cup last year, which is a little bit easier to do in a 6-team league. There's only 2 rounds. There are only 5-game series, but it's still a feat. It's tough to do. So I guess good job to them. I don't know. It feels wrong. I'm still mad at the Frost.
Yeah.
I like several of their players though. I can't be mad at Taylor Heisey or Sophie Jakes. They're fun to watch. They're cool.
I mean, Lise Steckline's also putting on a heck of a performance, but we'll get into that into a bit.
Yeah, talk about it now. Talk about Lise Steckline.
So, she goes 28 games without scoring a goal all season, and then scores 2 in the season ender, and has currently got 3 goals in the 3 games, as well as 3 assists for 6 points, leading the entire playoffs in scoring. Talk about late season clutch. But this is also a series that I think really defines almost a new era for the PWHL because SJ, I'm going to read you the scores through Minnesota and Toronto's series from last year, all right?
All right.
Game 1, Toronto wins 4-0. Game 2, Toronto wins 2-0. Game 3, Minnesota wins 2-0. Game 4, Minnesota wins 1-0 in overtime. Game 5, Minnesota wins 4-1.
Those are some low-scoring games.
Yeah, that is by some quick math there, and we've already proven earlier that I'm not good at math. That's a total of 14 goals.
That's brutally low.
They scored 12 goals in the last game alone in this series. So the scores, of course, 3-2 Toronto. Hooray, both teams scored a goal. Then 5-3 Minnesota, and then 7-5 Minnesota. So that's already now a total of 25 goals. They've almost doubled what they got last year in the 3 games compared to the last year's 5. And I think we've seen it a lot throughout this year in the PWHL. Teams have figured offense out a lot better, whether it's trying to solve goaltenders or maybe getting around defensive structures. We saw a lot less shutouts during the regular season. We're seeing that a lot in these playoffs currently.
Yeah, it does feel like offense is up a bit this year, which is a relief. I think the no escape rule has made a difference. The power plays are hitting a little harder, which makes a big difference. And maybe more of an incentive not to take penalties. Who knows? But they do happen regardless. Sometimes you can't control that.
I also do appreciate that the refs are not afraid to call some penalties in overtime. Well, that in that 4 OT game, there was both teams got a 5-on-3, which was quite surprising. When Ottawa took its 2 penalties, the first one was for an illegal yeet, so puck over glass. And I think the other one was a slash. I can't quite remember. That sounds about right.
And then when Montreal took the 2 penalties, the first one was for a too many players minor, and then the other one was a more normal penalty. So, wow.
I guess Leif was not a fan of the penalties being called in overtime.
No, he does not like them. He is barking at me.
He's in the minority here. We appreciate when referees are not afraid to put their to keep the whistles in their mouths during overtime. But regardless,
I do think that OT period, that OT did get to the you got to do a murder the point though back in the 4 OT.
100%.
Which I'm not sure that's what you want to do if you ever actually want the game to end.
Yeah, but
well.
Mm-hmm. It did finally end. It did feel like after a while that just wouldn't go, especially because some of the players looked a little gassed. And looking at some of the timesheets, I'm kind of wondering. 100%. They kept getting put out every second shift, and seeing some of the other ones, I'm like, why don't you? I know that it's your 4th line, you don't necessarily trust them, but they're going to be so fresh that they're going to skate circles around everyone else. Give them a shot here.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I'm really annoyed that they don't show time on ice on the game sheets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you can get that data somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where it is.
Yeah,
though.
They have it on the PWHL website itself, but I don't know if that's kept updated constantly, if that's just more so done at the end of the game.
Yeah, it might be.
We were able to see everyone's time on ice by the end of it. And, shout outs to Corey Chevry for finally realizing she doesn't have to play Aaron Ambrose every, half of the game. Because you remember that 3 OT game we're talking about where she played 61 minutes of it, and somehow this game went another full overtime, and Ambrose still played 3 minutes less this time around this year, so...
Well, she's getting older. You can't just you can't do that to her every year.
No.
She still played a ton of minutes.
She's going to wake up on May 11th, 2026, look at the calendar, just be like, damn it, here we go again.
Oh, well, hopefully she doesn't have a game that day. Maybe she'll put in a special request.
Well, that'll lead to 2 possibilities. It means either A, Montreal missed the playoffs, or B, somehow they got scheduled for an off day.
Yeah. She's going to be hoping for that off day.
Yeah. But like currently, like both playoff series have been very fun. There's been a lot of goals. Granted, I haven't been watching as much of Toronto, Minnesota due to, well, obviously there was the quad OT going on at the same time as the Toronto, Minnesota game 3. And I believe during the second one, I was busy doing other things. But like, it's still good to keep up with, like constantly having one of the score apps up on my phone, refreshing it here and there to check up what's going on. So
yeah, easy enough to do. I watch a lot of NHL that way.
Yeah.
Like, wonder what's happening. All right, cool. Any other thoughts on the PWHL playoffs?
Go Scepters, go Charge, but I won't be sad if the Victoire do beat the Charge in the end. They're going to be my second pick anyway.
They're a good team.
Mm-hmm. I picked them at the start of the year to win the Cup, so go ahead, prove me right. Please do.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. Okay. Let me pull up the thingy. All right. So we're going to take a little break, and then we will come back, and I'm going to get barked at by my dog again. He is very upset with me. And then we'll do NHL coaching, and we're gonna talk about the Utah Mammoths. So. All right. Welcome back. Before we get started, I do want to let you know that you can follow us on Instagram or Bluesky at Neutral Zone Hotel, all one word. I'm much better about updating the Bluesky than I am the Instagram, though. I don't know, you might want to keep that in mind. You can join our Discord at neutralzonehotel.com/Discord if you want to hang out with us. We are a very active server. Sometimes it's just me talking into the void about hockey, but if you want to come chat with me, I'm pretty much always online. If you like this episode, please rate us 5 stars on your podcast platform of choice. We're also available on YouTube at Neutral Zone Hotel. Smash that like button, subscribe, leave comments. You can also send comments to feedback@neutralzonehotel.com, or you can post in our Discord, where we can even have a dialogue. Nice chats. We do that all the time. Yeah. All right, cool. So let's talk about the musical chairs of NHL coaching. And if we want to, we might even get into some front office updates. Trevor.
Yeah.
The Ducks.
Yeah, I have to say I knew where we were starting. We have to pull back the curtain. We have a production document, but this isn't going to make it any less fun or any more fun to talk about, or even less depressing. The Ducks.
The Ducks have hired Joel Quenneville to be their new head coach.
The Ducks did the thing that everyone hoped they wouldn't do.
Yeah, they announced they kind of sent up a trial balloon, saying, "Hey, we interviewed Joel Quenneville," and then they waited to see if there was a freak out from their season ticket holders. I guess there wasn't. The Ducks are maybe not that kind of market where people pay that much attention, so they did it. They pulled the trigger, and they hired Joel Quenneville, the disgraced coach of the 2010 Chicago Blackhawks. Mm-hmm. When the scandal broke about the sexual assault that occurred in 2010, he was let go from his position as a head coach of the Florida Panthers. This was back in 2021, which it's very interesting to me looking back. This happened. This is one of the first things that happened when I started watching hockey.
Oh, yeah, that would have been right in there, huh?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yep. This was I don't know, it was maybe a month.
It was 8 games into the season when he resigned.
Yeah. So, me, taking up this new hobby of, like getting super into hockey, and like basically my introduction to the sport was the Blackhawks sexual assault scandal. So
and we didn't scare you away? Wow.
It's amazing that
kidding.
I kept at it. Looking back, just absurd. What was I thinking? I think I must have been very bored.
You were fascinated by Black Disc on Ice Go Zoom.
That's right. Black Disc on Ice Go Zoom. But yeah, so Joel Quenneville has been out of a job since then. He and Stan Bowman and a couple of the guys who were running the team were like banned or sort of banned, or like Gary Bettman said they couldn't work in the NHL for a while.
I guess, and then like blacklisted might be the best way to put it.
Sort of. But like, he like, they mostly didn't have jobs anyway. Like Quenneville did. Quenneville did have to quit. Did quit. Or at least was fired. Or it's actually a little bit unclear whether or not he got his contract paid out. But he and Stan Bowman were reinstated this past summer.
Yeah. Because Stan Bowman then got immediately hired to run the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep, that's right.
Whereas Quenneville was kind of poking around in some markets, but a lot of fan bases were immediately like, no, we don't want this.
Yeah, I remember not this past summer, but the one before that, the Rangers sent up a trial balloon about hiring Quenneville.
Before Laviolette eventually got the job. You're right.
Yeah. But maybe that was 2 years ago. And that was before Quenneville had been reinstated as well. Although everyone sort of felt like if Dolan really wanted to make it happen, he probably could have. But there was a large outcry. The Rangers eventually hired Peter Laviolette and now find themselves having hired Mike Sullivan. And Quenneville sat on the shelf for this season. So I think the feeling was very much that because of how successful he had been, he was getting back in eventually. He made the podcast and media rounds last summer, kind of did the apology tour, although he did a very bad job at it. A lot of people felt that he didn't really, he hadn't really seemed to understand why people were still angry. And he took had a very self-entitled attitude.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that he's back.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I almost want to buy a ticket to a Canucks game against Anaheim so I can boo the ever-loving piss out of that and just boo him out of the building. And I hope I'm not the only one in an NHL arena who wants to do so.
Yeah, it's tough to boo a coach.
I mean, all you got to do is hear the Anaheim Ducks and just boo constantly. Boo constantly. Doesn't matter. Just boo constantly at him. Maybe I'll sit behind the bench and unlike what we keep seeing around Pete DeBoer, maybe we'll just hold up a sign being like, boo this man with an arrow pointing at him. I'd say something meaner, but I'm sure I'd probably get like kicked out.
Yeah, you'd get kicked out.
And if I'm going to be paying that much for those seats, I kind of want to make sure I'm getting my money's worth. But
I feel like this is a plan that has some problems.
Minor details. Deja vu. Deja vu. But like it should be mentioned too that according to the Anaheim front office, they did do quote unquote due diligence. They talked to Kyle Beach, they talked to other people, but when asked all right, what did you talk about, or like what were their answers, we just got nothing.
I mean,
nothing important.
Yeah. Also, like It's worth noting that Kyle Beach is not like the arbiter of forgiveness. He was not the only victim. Did they talk to that high school student that, that the guy went to prison for assaulting? Probably, I'm guessing not.
No, probably not.
There's also another there's another person who's like litigating against the Blackhawks even today, like a John Doe 2. I think that's what they called him.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is such a complex story. And people very much, they focus on Kyle Beach because that's the name we know.
And
but
it wasn't
he was not the only one harmed here. And also, maybe they should leave him alone.
Well, the other thing too is like he almost wasn't going to be named. It's unfortunately like when it kind of came out like it was a black ace around this time. When like the only reason he really got out is because people started putting dots together, and at that point,
there were too many details in the report. I remember that
he almost had to unfortunately like unveil himself, which like full power and like massive respect to him for being able to do so, but it's unfortunate that he had to.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if I have like a takeaway or an action item on this aside from just kind of being depressed a bit.
You know what? I have one thing I want to say. John, get your swear jar ready. Anaheim Ducks front office. Fuck you. That's it.
I second that.
Amen.
Pat Verbeek, I would like to mention Pat Verbeek is a terrible GM. Bad.
Yep.
Bad GM and possibly bad guy. Just throwing that out there.
Maybe, you know what? His nickname was the little ball of hate. Maybe he's really embodying that hate part, huh?
That's a funny nickname.
To be fair, like he was small, but he was feisty. If you look up his stats, like he was a pretty solid player offensively, but it's his penalty minutes that you'll really understand why he gets that name.
Interesting. All right. Let us move on. Did you want to talk about the Canucks coaching search? We did get a little bit of news today.
We did get a little bit of it in that their head coaching vacancy is apparently now down to 2 names. One being Adam Foote, who was currently the assistant coach, mainly focusing on the defense for the Vancouver Canucks. The other name being floated was Manny Malhotra, who is currently the head coach for the Abbotsford Canucks, who are currently in the Western Conference semifinals in the AHL playoffs right now. So he's had some decent success down there, especially as a first-time head coach. So I can see them wanting to. Plus, he's a former Canuck player, beloved, even though he only played 2 years here. Mainly, he's remembered mostly for taking a puck to the eye. Yeah.
He was wearing a visor?
No, he did after that.
But hey, he can learn.
Yep. He took a puck to the eye. Had to get some, I believe he had a broken orbital bone, obviously vision problems and whatnot, a couple surgeries. He eventually ended up getting back onto the ice during the Stanley Cup final that year in 2011.
Wow.
So he's got a lot of respect from us Canucks fans for that. And for he wore a visor for a few years after that. Spent some time in the organization as an assistant coach here and then in the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. I don't necessarily have a preference between the two. Like, I'm kind of leaning more Manny just because he's got a little more Canuck vibe to him. Plus, you get that 2011 spirit. Rah, rah, rah. Plus, like, Adam Foote, he's done quite well with the defense. At least in terms of last year. Like, that was one of the key areas that the Canucks improved very well on. Maybe not as much this year, but it doesn't help when your number one goaltender was hurt for 66.7% of the season. And everyone else got hurt at some point. Like Quinn Hughes was out for like a dozen games. I don't think there was a single defenseman who played every single game this year. But I don't mind if he sticks around and coaches the defense. But the other thing to consider too is, do you really want to name Adam Foote your head coach when his son is also currently in the middle of the Hockey Canada scandal?
Oh, now that is a complicated question.
Yeah. Like, again, he is still currently the assistant coach, but do you want to put all that news on it right now, or you can just kind of let him sit where he already is and do something positive? Especially, too, considering Malhotra, I want to say, is Persian. Like, he's a minority when it comes to hockey.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's either, might be some Indian vibes in there, too. I can't fully remember, but
okay.
I'm sorry, all right?
I did only learn that Adam Foote is Cal Foote's dad today. So, yep. As a result of learning that he was a candidate for this job, I am not sure I want to weigh in on the wisdom of promoting him to head coach in the current environment. I don't necessarily, I'm not really one to think that like the sins of the child should
reflect
on the father. But it is a PR question for the Canucks that they probably do need to consider, even if the answer to that is, that they're going to defend their candidate. That is quite a complicated question.
And it's you mentioned it being a PR thing for the Canucks. This is already a team that's had their last two coaches go under big PR mishaps, like Rick Tockett's separation from the team being a very major thing, talking about, that we're not going to option him, but we're going to offer him a whole lot. Oh, hey, he's rejecting us. But even before that, Bruce Boudreau getting very publicly having no faith put in by the GM, and then just basically getting screwed over by them halfway through the 22-23 season.
I think what happened with Tocchet and Boudreau, I don't put either of those things on those coaches.
No, of course not. But
that was not a result of their actions. It was very much a result of how dysfunctional the Canucks front office was and continues to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that dysfunction flows directly from ownership.
It's almost like you live in the Pacific Northwest or something. Does some of our news from like hockey like float down there? Because that's been the tale of the tape for 12 years now.
It comes on a little boat on the Salish Sea. Catches the Victoria Clipper.
Regional jokes, excellent.
Right. Yeah. So, you guys maybe deserve a better owner. That's for darn sure.
I agree.
You could say that about a lot of teams. Yeah. The Mariners, for instance.
True. Woof, indeed.
Truly a failure of a franchise.
How do you not capitalize on a 116-win season? That's another like summertime podcast.
Summertime podcast. All right. I just let's touch briefly on, it sounds like Ken Holland may be hired as the new GM in Los Angeles any day now. They haven't announced it officially. Maybe they will have by the time this comes out. Just what is your one-line reaction to Ken Holland to the Kings?
Surprised it wasn't Bergevin, because Bergevin's stuff is already there.
Maybe he's working remotely and he would have to move. It's quite possible. I, for one, am thrilled because I think Ken Holland is a lousy GM.
Yeah.
And if he can manage to keep the Kings in a state of like just odd paralysis for another 4 years, I wouldn't be mad about it.
Let's have all the California teams at the bottom of the division again.
Yep. I am not winning us any Kings fans listeners to this podcast today.
That's fine. I
got to think about that.
My thoughts on the King, my feelings about the Kings may not be known, but they are definitely in my lower tier.
Yeah. I think, what would really raise the Kings in my estimation? If they brought Purple back.
Ooh.
You know, because like the black and white and silver uniforms, they do not do it for me. Bland.
Yeah.
But if they got a purple jersey, they would go up at least to the middle of the pack.
All right, I got something to fire off to you. So you mentioned how it does nothing for you. The reason it kind of does something for me is because this is what the Los Angeles Kings jerseys looked like when I started getting to hockey when I was like 5 years old. Like there's memories in there for me. But with that in mind, I want to show you what their jersey from like circa 2002 looked like. Maybe this might do something for you.
Okay, I'm clicking. Ooh, that looks great.
Yep.
They should go back to this. It's mostly it's black. It's got like a black body, but it's got that like kind of purplish bluish purple on the shoulders, and there's a stripe on the forearm, a wide stripe. And there's a a wide stripe along the bottom, and then there's quite a bit of thinner silver stripe.
Yeah, the crown logo is great. You can maybe do away without the Los Angeles along the bottom. That looks a little tacky.
Yeah, that looks a little bit dated. Yeah. They don't need to say Los
that was, I
the
believe, the third jersey or something very similar to it. They had another one there that was like the black and the purple was reversed. So it had the crown logo, but it was like a majority purple jersey with like black stripes and whatnot. I've sent you one more link. That's what their normal jersey looked like. This was with like a crest kind of logo. I've never actually looked at this closely before. There is a lion holding a hockey stick wearing sunglasses in the center of the crest, and I've never noticed he was wearing sunglasses before, and that's just hilarious to me.
This is pretty good. Pretty good.
See?
Yeah. I like the first one better, I think.
Yeah,
but
the crown is great.
But this is pretty darn good. Darn good.
Like, you could probably do a nice little mixture here. Like, if you take the current Kings look, like that silver, like the chevron kind of looking crest, or however you would describe that, with like the word mark and whatnot, but maybe add like a purple stripe along the bottom and purple shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, there's so much. They could do so much better than what they've got.
Plus, no one else uses purple. Embrace a unique identity.
That's right. Absolutely. Purple. Heck yeah. We definitely need more color variation in the NHL. I'm happy that we have a couple of yellow teams. We've got some orange teams as well. That's nice. I'm surprised that the PWHL hasn't really brought in yellow and orange, or like a pink jersey would rock.
Yeah, well, they're kind of doing that with the Sirens, because the Sirens added like a lot of orange elements to go with the teal that they have, which really kind of helps make it pop. But by the same token, SJ, as a fan of one of the two expansion teams coming in, would you want your expansion team to be yellow or orange or pink?
It doesn't make sense for the Pacific Northwest. The fact that they went with a green for Seattle and a blue for Vancouver, it does fit the identity of the cities. But yeah, at the same time, I'm like, but other colors.
I mean, like, I imagine at some point they'll probably expand to Los Angeles, and maybe then they'd probably embrace like a purple and yellow kind of vibe, similar to what the original Kings jerseys are. So there's some hope. But
there is some hope. I mean, I appreciate that the Frost have purple.
Yeah.
And I think that they could get away with like a pink primary for if they picked it,
maybe like Florida.
Freaking go to Miami.
Yeah.
The market has embraced pink.
Oh my God. Have you seen the Inter Miami football team? Like the soccer team? Have you seen their kits before?
I have seen some pictures. Yeah, there's a lot of pink, and it's great, and they're cool. You can do it. It's okay. Yeah. All right. Nothing has been confirmed about Lou Lamoriello. He might be coming back, so I don't want to get into it, but I do want to get into stack ranking NHL team names.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So just to set up some context here. This week we learned that the Utah Mammoth is now the official name of the former Utah Hockey Club. And we are going to objectively decide how this name compares to the rest of the NHL. So we are going to do a stack rank. So we are going to let's go. Let's start in the Metro because that's what I've got first. Okay. And we're just going to take those first two teams and we're going to decide which one's first, which one's second. So we've got the Carolina Hurricanes and the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Hurricanes is better than Blue Jackets.
I agree. Let's move on. Okay. The New Jersey Devils. Better or worse than the Hurricanes and the Blue Jackets?
Better than the Blue Jackets. I prefer Hurricanes as a team name.
Okay. I will go with that. New Jersey
Excellent.
Devils. Feel free to give any reasoning as well if you wanted to. New York Islanders.
As a team name, I really do like Islanders. Like, it just kind of flows nicely. The one thing is, like, it doesn't necessarily have the same ferocity. Like, you think of a hurricane, you think of something, like, powerful, terrifying. Islander, maybe not so much, but it rings nicely.
I don't know what an Islander is. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't think it makes any sense as a team name. Just like Blue Jackets, it's like...
Well, so Blue Jackets was a historical reference, right?
It is a historical reference. It was named after, like, the Union Army.
Whereas,
it's a military reference. But that is a little bit arcane.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, Islanders, basically, as far as I can tell, it's just basically, like, you know, they're from Long Island. They live on Long Island. They represent Long Island. They're the Islanders.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm guessing there's a point of pride to be there. So.
I definitely like it less than the Devils.
Yeah,
because the Devils they're a thing.
They're the Devils! We're the Devils! Insert Seinfeld clip here. Yep. You know, I'll buy it. I'm down with it.
I'm going to put the Islanders between the Devils and the Blue Jackets. How does that sound?
Sounds great to me.
All right. I really look forward to everybody yelling at us about this.
That's fine. Let them yell. Bring the engagement on. Bring it on.
The New York Rangers.
The New York Hockey Rangers. Okay, unoriginal because there's already a different Rangers team.
And B, which one came first?
I would assume it's the baseball team, but I might be wrong on that.
You might be wrong.
Oh, don't do that to me. Don't make me feel bad.
They are an 06 original 6 team.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the new, Texas Rangers established in 1961. Oh, that feels bad. All right.
That's still old.
Yeah, but like the New York Rangers, I think, are like 1926 or something like that. All right, fine. Maybe they were the original one, but when I hear the term Rangers, I think of a park ranger. I think of you being basically a glorified companion to Yogi Bear. You're bad. Below the Blue Jackets.
Well, I think the Rangers are actually also, I think that's also a military reference.
I'd rather be
the Blue Jackets. Oh, wow.
I'd rather have a Blue Jacket than be a Ranger. Hey, boo-boo!
Okay. This one is really going to get people
We're from New York now.
We've put the Rangers below the Blue Jackets.
That's fine.
Oh, man.
We're only ranking this off of nickname. That is okay. If they want to get mad at us, they're more than welcome to.
It's not just nickname. I do think the whole name needs to work together. The city, the location name plus.
All right.
Nickname.
In that case, I will. In that case, I would put it above the Blue Jackets, but it's also just really because Columbus is just an awkward name to work around.
I mean, it's really long. Columbus Blue Jackets is so many syllables. Columbus Blue Jacket. Yeah. That's like 6 syllables.
That's like a whole middle line of a haiku.
Okay. Almost. All right, we're gonna bump them over the Blue Jackets, but we're keeping them below the Islanders.
Yep.
All right. Hopefully that does something for you, Rangers fans.
Oh, they're going to get mad at us that we put the Islanders first. Book it.
Yeah,
That said, we have now appeased every single Islanders fan.
That's right. The Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh, number one. Right to the top. It is not quite technically, what's alliterative? But
it is alliterative.
Well, it is alliterative in terms of phonetically.
In the sound.
Yeah,
it is alliterative.
Yeah, just not.
I actually agree that it being alliterative actually does quite a lot for me.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what a flyer is.
You don't need to think of it. It's just something that flies. Someone that flies. Plus, even if you shorten it, the Philly Flyers, love it.
Okay. We'll put Philadelphia Flyers at the top. So they are currently our winner. We'll see if that lasts. And I don't think it will, because up next, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Very plosive, but I do like the Flyers more.
Really? Yeah. I like the Penguins because, one, it's alliterative, Pittsburgh Penguins, and two, it's an animal. Mm-hmm. And I am giving massive points to having an actual, animal as the team name.
You know what? I guess, we've gone through a whole division. This is the first time an animal mascot's shown up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, depending upon how you count the Devils, which they're not from Australia.
No.
I think it's a reference to the Jersey Devil.
That's correct.
Which I'm not really sure what that is. I think that's like the Sasquatch. It's like
I know. I've looked it up before, but I can't remember. Let's get
Jersey people, get back to us.
Friend of the podcast, Greg Wyshynski. He could tell us.
Yeah. Okay. So, but we do need to figure out Pittsburgh Penguins above or below Flyers. Because I really want to put it above. It's such a cute logo. It's the little penguin.
I know, but we're not ranking logo. We're ranking name.
No, I know. But it's still cute penguin.
I would say let's put a pin into it and come back later and just kind of keep them at even keel right now.
Okay.
Because maybe there's going to be something that comes up later and it's like, oh yeah, that's better than this one, but not better than the other one.
That's a good point. That might come up. Okay. And last, in the Metro, the Washington Capitals.
It flows pretty nicely, but it doesn't inspire much. It's great, cool. We're the Capital, okay, but as an actual team nickname,
a concept.
Yeah, right.
Better or worse than the Blue Jackets?
Better.
Okay. Better or worse than the Rangers?
Probably worse.
Okay. Then definitely worse than the Islanders?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you agree on that?
Yep, let's do that.
Perfect.
Washington Capitals, better than the Blue Jackets, worse than the Rangers. Indeed.
I'm trying to push my fandom and biases of certain teams aside, but
yeah. All right, let's go down. Let's jump over to the Western Conference. We're going to do the Central.
Okay.
Which means we're going to start with the Chicago Blackhawks.
Bottom.
I have, if this was not a cultural appropriation of a tribe and it was like a bird thing,
it'd be great.
It would be so good.
You can't. It's hard to separate the two. I know we're ranking almost purely just off the aesthetics of how it sounds.
Yeah.
But it's got to be bottom for me. There's just no way to separate it at this point.
No, I agree. It pains me because Blackhawks would be a baller team name if it didn't have that.
The connotation. I need to. If you haven't seen it, there's some really sick concept art that people have made where they make the black. Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
If they pivoted their brand and kept the name and were we're gonna work with a tribe and have a minority owner and then changed the logo and leaned into the bird thing, but with more of a native reference, references in the art. I think that would make
I mean, even
more sense.
something even as small as what they were originally referred to as, because them being the Blackhawks, all one word, is only something that really came around in like the mid '80s or something, because apparently there was a typo. It used to just be the Blackhawks. Like there used to be a space in between.
Yeah.
Until one day they look closely at their documents, like, oh, that wasn't supposed to be there. Let's hope no one notices.
Even they didn't think it made any sense. Interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely think this is one that's just kind of burdened by its own history, which is tough. Otherwise, I think it would be a great name.
Yeah.
Colorado Avalanche, better or worse?
The more that I say it, the more I like it. It's still probably about mid-tier.
I agree. It is mid-tier, I think, in the league. But let's figure out where it is on our list. Devils, better or worse?
Worse. I would probably put it between the New York teams, to be honest. Better than Rangers, worse than Islanders.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Sorry to our Avs friends, but
I mostly don't like it because, like, an Avalanche, I guess it's just, I kind of hate their logo. But two, it's just like, what, the Colorado snowstorm? The Colorado...
I know.
Like, I don't know. And it's like, it's a lot of snow.
I do kind of wish they'd embrace their old shoulder patch from like the mid 2000s. I don't know if you've seen that, but like, you know how now they have like the Colorado flag patch kind of on the side with the C?
Yeah. They also have the Bigfoot one.
Yeah, that's the old one. That one ruled. If they made like a primary logo based off of that,
That would be interesting.
Again, we're not worried about that.
I do like their when they use that flag with the flag thing, the C with the mountain. I quite prefer that uniform. I think that's their third.
Yeah.
Okay. Dallas Stars.
That is honestly a really top-notch one.
Yeah, you think so?
Do you not?
I mean,
like, it's not like peak. It's below Pittsburgh and Philly for sure.
Okay.
But it's up there.
Do you think it's better than the Hurricanes?
Carolina Hurricanes, Dallas Stars. I put the Stars above the Hurricanes, yeah.
Okay.
It's honestly just the Dallas flowing perfectly into Stars. It does something for me.
Do you think Dallas Stars was better than the North Stars?
Yeah. As much as as great as the the logo and whatnot and the iconography for the North Stars are, it's really awkward to say. Like if it was just North Stars, it'd be one thing, but the North Stars, like you have to get that that tongue movement halfway through. It can trip you up a bit.
Okay, now I know that you absolutely love this team name, the Minnesota Wild.
Bottom.
Worse than the Blue Jackets. Worse than the Blackhawks. Wow. That is. Are you gonna
tell me I'm wrong? Tell me I am wrong.
I mean, I think that they were wise to go with a one-syllable nickname after forcing people to say Minnesota. And I guess that is better than saying Minneapolis, although I believe they play in St. Paul. So they could have been the St. Paul one. I don't know. I don't know what a Wild is.
I'd say ask their logo, but even then I don't think the logo knows what a Wild is.
It's like the logo is really interesting because it's like a cat head, but it's got like scenic.
Yeah, it's got like rivers and trees and a star.
And trees and It definitely, I do think that the logo kind of evokes the concept of wilderness.
But yeah, so let's name our team after, it's like the Capitals. We're going to name our team after a concept, but we're also not going to make it sound good.
They could have been the Minnesota Wilderness. Worse?
No. Worse. Yeah. It falls under the same problem that you said the Wild kind of solved. Wilderness is too many syllables after trying to say Minnesota. Yeah.
No, I agree. I'll go ahead and type it in at the bottom. I don't know. I think it's a little tough for me. I actually like it a little better than Blue Jackets, than the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Ironic considering they both came in the league at the same time, but
yeah.
You know, let's at least bump it above Chicago.
Okay.
We'll give them that favor. We'll put it nicely in the middle for the two of us. We'll compromise.
All right. Oh, let's go a little faster.
Okay.
Nashville Predators.
Decent, actually.
You think so? Better or worse than the Avalanche?
I feel like I'm almost actually underrating my Avalanche pick at this point. I'm going to say worse than the Avs. Yeah, worse. I think just below Avalanche.
Better than the Rangers?
New York Rangers, Nashville Predators. Yes, because I love the well, I shouldn't say I love the concept of Predator, because that sounds really bad. No one clipped that out of context. I'm warning you. Well, don't do it.
They are, I mean, they're trying to do the saber-toothed tiger thing.
Well, because like the whole reason for that iconography in the name is when they were digging the land up to build the arena, they found a saber-toothed tiger skeleton underneath, like in there. Yeah. So like I love that for it. And like you could be the Tigers, but that's better boring.
If they were like the Tigers.
Yeah, but that's boring. That's already been done several times. That already exists in terms of the NHL. Hamilton Tigers was a team way back 100 years ago.
Wow, interesting.
But you also have the Detroit Tigers. So I know we borrow a lot from other sports, but no. You can maybe be the Sabertooths or the Saberteeth. You know, right off the bat, doesn't flow.
Yeah, but there's already a Sabres.
Yeah, exactly. So Predators, though, adds a sense of like ferocity to it and also unique.
Interesting.
Just unfortunate now.
All right. I'm sliding it in between the Avalanche and the Rangers. St. Louis Blues.
Above the Islanders.
Above?
Really?
I disagree.
All right. Where would you put it?
It's they're named after a musical genre that isn't even famous, like that their city isn't even famous for. This is a bottom tier name for me.
Oof. Maybe it's my own.
I put it above. I put it between the Capitals and the Blue Jackets.
Okay. You know what? Sure. I like it a lot, but I can see where you're coming from. And that also might just be like team bias because I do like the Blues as a team.
Oh, but gross.
There's worse teams I can be cheering for. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. We'll put them there. That's okay.
Okay.
The Blues fans can get mad at you. I tried defending you.
That's all right. I'm ready. Bring it. Okay. The Utah Mammoths.
Whew. Do we have is it the Avalanche and then the Rangers? Do we have someone between those two right now?
Avalanche, Predators, Rangers.
Utah Mammoth, Nashville Predators.
I actually like this name quite a bit.
Really? I'd put it both between Nashville and the Rangers, to be honest.
Interesting. Okay.
If it was the Utah Yeti, it would have the same thing for me as the Philadelphia Flyers has and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Shoots right to the top. Unfortunately, it does not. Mammoth is fine, and the problem is you can't do the plural of mammoths. But there's also just that little bit, like the kind of caveat that Colorado already has the mammoth from their lacrosse team.
I am not going to take off points for borrowing a name from a lacrosse team, considering there are multiple Panthers, there's multiple Jets, there's multiple this, that, and the other thing. Lacrosse is not a major sport in the U.S. I think that it is a shame that it is not, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Again, where would you rank it here?
I mean, I would put it probably above the Avalanche.
Okay, we got the same kind of ballpark at least.
I'm willing to negotiate on this.
Well, so I have it between the Predators and the Rangers, and you've got it above the Avalanche but below the Devils, or below the Islanders.
I guess below the Islanders, although I don't love the Islanders. Yeah. I would maybe put it below the Devils.
So why don't we compromise then? Put it between the Avalanche and Predators.
Okay. This is
It's kind of fitting that once again we pair Utah and Colorado together.
All right, the Winnipeg Jets.
There's going to be some bias here. I do think that flows together nicely, and then there's also that nostalgia factor that hits me. Like, even though I never watched them as a kid, I had old hockey cards, so that's what I associated it with.
I think this is a good name.
Yeah.
I think this is a good name. I would put this probably up around the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I can see that.
So the question is it better or worse than the Hurricanes?
Carolina Hurricanes, Winnipeg Jets. Well, in the game between a Hurricane and a Jet, who comes out on top? No.
Well, they do have those planes that fly into the eye of a hurricane. I don't know if those are Jets.
Carolina I think I'd put the Jets above the Hurricanes because as much as I love the idea, again, I've mentioned before, I love the idea of Hurricanes as a team name. Carolina Hurricanes is a bit of a mouthful. Winnipeg Jets, perfect flow.
Yeah. So below the Stars and above the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it.
All right. Winnipeg Jets. Welcome to the party. Okay, back to the Atlantic, and we do need to go faster.
Yep.
The Boston Bruins, and you do have to put aside your feelings.
I know, because in all honesty, again, it's alliterative. It's pretty solid, to be honest.
It's a bear. It's kind of a unique name for a bear.
Yeah,
it is alliterative. I actually think this is a top tier name.
I kind of have to agree, and I hate that I have to, but here we are. Below the Jets, higher than the Hurricanes.
Can I talk you into above the Stars?
Compromise, go between the Stars and the Jets.
Okay.
Cool.
Boston Bruins.
Yeah, because I was thinking when I saw this on the docket, I'm like, okay, if we go by alphabetical, Ducks, automatic, we'll get to that later. But Bruins, yeah, that's up there.
It is up there. Buffalo Sabres.
Meh.
I kind of like this name.
It's fine. It's unique for sure. I just don't know if it flows nicely.
I think it flows fine. I think the problem is okay, I definitely take off points for anything that's not an animal.
But it's got buffalo in the name.
But it's right got there. Buffalo.
It's in true. It's in every single piece of iconography. They have a logo that's more iconic for being a buffalo with no swords whatsoever. And yet here we are. But
also, I think saber is a cool word.
Yeah, I mean, I say as I've been playing around with this all day, it's like
that's a tiny lightsaber.
It's a lightsaber Nintendo DS stylus. Just to date myself. But
I have a lot of Nintendo DS styli.
Yeah, you know what's up.
I do have quite a few of those.
You know what's up.
Okay, but where do the sabers rank?
Oh.
I'm inclined to put them in the upper half of our list, but maybe middle. Who knows?
I was gonna say they might be the worst of the three New York teams for me, which sounds
So that would put them
below the Rangers.
Below the Rangers, above the Capitals.
Yeah, I could be convinced into that. I don't almost put the Capitals above the Sabres. I don't know. Where do you stand on this?
I put them above the Capitals.
Okay. But you're cool with them being below the Rangers then?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
The Detroit Red Wings.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one a lot, to be honest.
I think it stinks.
You just don't like colors. That's what I'm getting out of this.
I don't like, what is a red wing? What is that supposed to represent? Is that fierce? Am I afraid? It's a wing. It's not even a wing that's attached to anything, except if you go by the logo, it's attached to a tire.
There's a lot of
what is that?
I get it, but it also just flows real nice. Like Detroit Red Wings.
You just like it because you've lived with it your entire life.
Maybe, I don't know.
You're just used to it.
That's fair.
Stockholm syndrome for the Detroit Red Wings.
I mean, I guess I have been paying attention to hockey since there were 26 teams, so that makes sense. But fine. All right, where would you place the Red Wings?
I mean, I think it stinks. I would.
They're at least the best of the color teams. They're at least the best of the color teams. Give them that at least.
Okay.
Better than the Blues, better than the Blue Jackets, better than the Blackhawks.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, I can be happy. I can be happy now.
All right. I would place them below the Sabres and above the Capitals.
Fine. I'll let you have it. I'll let you have this one. I would place them higher, but that's just me. I get
it. This is a deeply negotiated list.
I mean, you said it yourself. We're running out of time here, so
we are. We gotta move. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I love this name, Florida Panthers.
See, I kind of think this one stinks.
What? It's an animal, and the entire name is one animal.
Oh, y'all. I thought we were just ranking like how the name sounds here, but
no.
Okay.
We are ranking the name.
Okay.
It is also an animal that is iconic to the team's location.
Fair, but also when I think Panthers, I think they're the second best Panthers name in pro sports because I think Carolina Panthers sounds better.
Oh, I disagree.
Oh, I would put them below the Washington Capitals at least.
Wow.
We're gonna have a fight.
I mean, I would put the Florida Panthers like between the Bruins and the Jets. So we are far apart.
Wow.
We might have to come back.
We'll put a pin on that one.
We'll put a pin in the Panthers. The Montreal Canadiens.
It's fine. I appreciate the French to it.
Mm-hmm. It is French, but they're just saying Canadian in French.
Yep. What's wrong with being Canadian?
Nothing, but I wouldn't call a team that, except for unless you're Team Canada.
Well, I also wouldn't call a team the Americans, but New York did that earlier in the 40s.
I mean, there is an AHL. There's a WHL team called the Americans. Is actually, I agree that it is a terrible name, but it does seem to be oddly popular.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call a team that either.
But like, I'm kind of willing to put the Canadians down lower. Benjamin's gonna kill us for that. But that's fine.
I don't know. He's funny sometimes. He has secret thoughts.
Long, deep conversations on the way back from Montreal and fog banks. New York Rangers, Montreal. Okay, well, New York Rangers, who's above them?
The Predators.
Nashville Predators, Montreal Canadiens. This might be sacrilege. I might actually put them below the New York Rangers.
Above the Sabres?
Buffalo
above the
Sabres
Red Wings?
And Montreal Canadiens. Fuck. This is such a ridiculous list now that I'm hearing this out loud. Because in my head, I'm like, how did we put this? Like, how did we put the Red Wings below the Rangers? But here we are.
Should I bump the Red Wings up above?
I would love if you bumped the Red Wings up a couple spots.
Okay.
To be honest.
Okay, I am bumping the Red Wings up above the Rangers.
Thank you. They can sit. That's fine if they sit there. We'll say worse than the Red Wings, better than the Rangers. I'd say actually below the Rangers, maybe better than Sabres.
Okay. In the interest of time.
Yeah.
The Ottawa Senators.
I actually like this one a lot. Even though, again, Senator may not mean a whole lot, it still sounds cool. Like, it flows real nicely. It looks cool.
It is like an actual person can be a senator. Mm-hmm.
And like the double connotation, because like you have the Roman senators of old, but also like the senators in Parliament. A better nod to being a capital city than being called the Capitals.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I agree.
All right. For sure. Okay, we have Islanders. What's above Islanders?
Devils.
Between the two, you can't be better than Devils.
Okay. All right. The Tampa Bay Lightning.
I know it's singular, but I actually like this one a lot.
Yeah?
It evokes power. It evokes like strong emotion. And Tampa Bay Lightning flows. It's real nice. Like I'd probably put it like top 8.
Better or worse than the Senators?
Better.
Better or worse than the Devils?
Better.
Hurricanes.
Worse.
Okay, that's where we'll go. Oop. Toronto Maple Leafs.
I'm curious where you would put this one.
I think it's just awful.
Yeah, okay, good. Yes. I know, again, it's another military reference. That's why it's not proper pronunciation. Yes.
I mean, I was just like, why are they blue?
It's like the Maple Leaf Regiment, which is why they're called the Maple Leafs instead of the Maple Leaves, but it's bad. 100%
I would put this below the Sabres and above the Capitals.
Really? I'd put them below the Caps.
Yeah? Above the Blues?
I mean, we know how I feel about the Blues. I'd put the Blues above the Maple Leafs.
Okay. Between the Blues and the Blue Jackets?
Above the Blue Jackets. I'll give them that at least.
All right. Toronto, you have not fallen below the Blue Jackets. Congratulations. We're really at the bottom of the league there. Okay. Let's do the Pacific. The Anaheim Duckies.
Oh, bad. Bad. If this was the Mighty Ducks, they'd be so high up there. But Anaheim Ducks is bad.
We do miss the Mighty Ducks. They should bring them back.
I know you're fond of animals, but where would you place the Ducks?
I mean, it is a bird, and that does help it. I would put them between the Rangers and the Canadiens.
Whoa, that's so generous. I'd actually put them below I'd put them like maybe just above the Maple Leafs.
Oh,
like they're way down
between
there
the
for me.
Blues and the Maple Leafs.
Again, we can compromise on this. So
let's go. How about Capitals, Ducks, Blues?
Sure, that works for me.
Okay, I agree. If they brought the Mighty back,
top tier.
The Calgary Flames, named for a fire that burned down a different city.
In a different country.
In a different country.
On a different
during
coast.
A civil war in that country.
Yep. It
really just doesn't make any sense.
It does. I mean, at least Flames is a nice evocation for imagery, but it's not great.
Yeah. I mean, I like the logo and the uniform, so well. Mm-hmm. Calgary Flames. It doesn't sound bad at all.
No.
I think it's nice.
It's phonetically nice, but in terms of everything else, it's got everything else going against it.
And like the Flames, I don't hate it at all. I kind of put it in the middle, like maybe right around the Mammoth, maybe between the Mammoth and the Predators, or above the Wings. How do you feel?
I was thinking like I'd actually put them between the Rangers and the Canadiens. I think Rangers is better, but
fair enough. Calgary Flames. Highway.
I was drinking when you said that. I almost spat that out everywhere.
I didn't think it was that good a joke, so I didn't feel like was there any need to warn you.
As a quick aside, to a point we made earlier about how this has been a high-scoring playoffs, the Ottawa Charge win 1-0.
Our what?
The Ottawa Charge win 1-0.
Wow. I wasn't looking at the score at all.
But more importantly, the Ottawa Charge won.
Heck yeah.
So, sorry to you Victoria friends, but go Charge.
Go Charge, go. Okay, Edmonton Oilers.
So, very decent. I like it flows super nicely. Like, Oiler maybe doesn't evoke the greatest imagery.
Oiler?
I know.
Oiler? What is an oiler?
Someone who digs for oil.
It's terrible.
There's a lot of it in Alberta.
Yes, but as a team name, it just, I don't know, it doesn't really evoke anything besides being greasy to me.
Have you seen the Edmonton Oilers?
They do.
Actually, no, they shouldn't say
Corey
that.
Perry.
They do, they have some greasy players, but they've also got a lot of skilled players to surround it. So they're very slippery.
They are a team of many feelings.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there. They're a weird team.
I'd put them between the Red Wings and the Rangers.
Okay. Sounds good. Edmonton Oilers. All right. Los Angeles Kings.
I actually don't like this one a lot. I don't like Los Angeles. I feel like can open itself to a lot, and Kings just kind of like you get the flow of the city name of Los Angeles, and then Kings, plosive. And like King is fine as iconography, but
I don't love it. It's not an animal.
Where would you put it?
I would put it probably... I would put it below the Sabres.
Yep. I think that's the perfect spot for it, to be honest.
Okay. So that puts it between the Sabres and the Capitals.
Mm-hmm.
San Jose Sharks.
Now, this is a great name.
I agree. We're going right to the top of the list.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Below the Penguins and Flyers. Like, I think this is this is above the Dallas Stars.
Okay. We're doing it. The Seattle Kraken.
I'm going to let you take this one.
I think this is a mediocre name.
Okay. Thank God.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen any Kraken in my city. I've looked. I've seen some octopus. Very cool animals, but that's about as close as I've gotten. So I think I put this one below the Flames and above the Canadiens.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I think I was kind of eyeballing that lower part there, so that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Lower half of the league. The Vancouver Canucks. And you must place this one.
See, I know your hatred is what the heck is a Canuck? Because it's just like...
Well, it's just another name for a Canadian.
Again, what's wrong with Canadians? But again...
Nothing. But do you need to name your team after them?
Yes. I don't know. Just because, again, it's a fun nickname. It's got a great...
what would make it better? If for some reason the franchise had been forced to move to the southern United States and they kept the name. That would at least make it funny.
Well, so like how Memphis has the Grizzlies, despite the fact there's no such thing as a grizzly bear down there.
It is a little bit too far east.
Yeah.
Yes. I was thinking the way the Utah has the Jazz.
Yeah.
Nonsensical.
So I get, and also just Canucks. It's very unique in that it's like the only team where you really emphasize the second syllable.
Well, fair enough.
And then, again, you get the Vancouver Canucks. Like, it flows super nicely, but
mouthful.
I would personally, I'll be generous. Like, I'm not going to say it's top because I don't think it is. I would say between the Senators and the Islanders.
I think that's very generous, but
I know it's being.
We'll let it go.
I was going to say, well, where would you place it? We can compromise on this. But
I would place it between the Wings and the Oilers.
Ooh.
But I'm going to let you have this one.
Okay, thank you.
It's fine.
All right.
The Vegas Golden Knights.
I actually like this one a lot.
I think it is a heck of a mouthful, and that's why I just called them VGK.
Yeah.
At least they didn't call them the Las Vegas Vegas Golden Knights.
Well, they probably couldn't be able to. Yeah, they couldn't initialize it properly in the score bug. But like, I'd actually have this like upper echelon, so I'm very intrigued to see where you'd put it.
I would put this below the Mammoth.
Really?
It is so much.
I mean, sure, but
they couldn't just
Vegas
go with
Golden Knights. Okay, but we've also got teams like the Carolina Hurricanes and the like high up there, and that's more syllables than the Vegas Golden Knights. They tried for the Knights, but that was
words. I don't know. It just feels. I don't know.
So maybe is Tampa Bay Lightning.
Maybe I can't separate my feelings for the team.
Yeah, I want to put them like below the Hurricanes, but above the Lightning. But I'm willing to like compromise on this and like. So you said better. You said below the Mammoth. I said between there. So let's say it looks like I guess right in the smack dab in the middle where we said would be like between the Senators and the Canucks.
I think it's a little better than the Senators. Let's put it under the Devils.
Sure, that sounds good to me.
And now we have to circle back to the Florida Panthers.
Yeah. All right. Is it better than Blackhawks? Yes. Wild, yes. Blue, Florida Panthers. See, like, I put them below the Kraken.
Well, I wouldn't.
I know you wouldn't. And that's what you're to me, because this is your team, but, like, again, maybe I'm focusing just more on, like, vocal aesthetic. but Florida Panthers to me sounds worse than Seattle Kraken.
But it's a cool animal.
Yeah, but again, if we're doing this off logos, then I can't say off logos because the Kraken.
We're doing it off the name, and the name evokes something.
It evokes panther, which to me has.
It evokes a cougar. It evokes a cool big cat.
It evokes football.
No, because that is not the sport.
I know it's not the sport, but again, if you want to do it purely off of that, then
they're not a Florida panther.
I know.
I'm really having. We're on the struggle bus here, and we've broken time so badly. John is going to murder us.
All right. You know what? I'm just gonna close my eyes. I'm just gonna point. I've got them between the Avalanche and the Mammoth.
All right. Perfect.
Oh right. Flyers and Penguins. All right. You know what? I got an idea. Okay. Google.ca. Coin flip. Oh balls. All right, SJ, call it heads or tails?
Heads.
It's tails. Philadelphia Flyers is number 1.
All right.
Woo!
Okay, so a solid list. Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, San Jose Sharks, Dallas Stars, Boston Bruins, Winnipeg Jets, Carolina Hurricanes, Tampa Bay Lightning, New Jersey Devils, Vegas Golden Knights, Ottawa Senators, Vancouver Canucks, New York Islanders, Colorado Avalanche, Florida Panthers, Utah Mammoth, Nashville Predators, Detroit Red Wings, Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, Calgary Flames, Seattle Kraken, Montreal Canadiens, Buffalo Sabres, Los Angeles Kings, Washington Capitals, Anaheim Ducks, St. Louis Blues, Toronto Maple Leafs, Columbus Blue Jackets, Minnesota Wild, and last, and certainly laced, Chicago Blackhawks.
This is the official list. This is objective. You can't get mad at us. But tell us your lists anyway, or tell us why we're wrong, and we'll tell you why you're wrong.
Please get mad at us.
All right, SJ, good work. Good work, friend.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let us get out of here before John murders us. You have been listening to the Neutral Zone Hotel, which is written, hosted, and produced by the Neutral Zone Hotel crew. That's us. Find out more at neutralzonehotel.com. Thank you to Emily Mowbray for designing our fabulous logo. You can follow us on Instagram or Bluesky at Neutral Zone Hotel, or email us at feedback@neutralzonehotel.com. Please join our Discord at neutralzonehotel.com/Discord. Thank you for listening.